Hey, what is up? It's me again, Calvin, and today I'm so happy to be bringing you my custom slash modification video for the McFarlane Batman Hush. Now, this is an amazing figure when you took the time to work on it. There are lots of issues, and we will address all of that. But first, I want to talk about the work that I did. Now, out of the box, everyone knows this. He has a screaming face, and don't get me wrong, I love the screaming face. I think it's amazing. Unfortunately, I just prefer the closed mouth. But if you want to keep it open mouth, I think it's a great sculpt, and it does have great expression. Don't really have anything to compare you with, but here is the packaging. That's the closed mouth. Sorry, can't. I mean the open mouth. It looks good. I think it's fine, but I just prefer the more serious looking Batman. So what I did is basically just resculpt the whole thing, not the whole thing, the whole mouth. So that's what I did. Let me zoom in on that. Yeah, I think it looks good. Now keep in mind that when I resculpted it, I was keeping in mind that it's supposed to be a Jim Lee sculpt 2 art style. So to achieve that, I give him minimal lips and kind of pronounce this part of his mouth, that part of his mouth, because I kind of noticed Jim Lee does kind of emphasize that sometimes. Yeah, and after that I just painted the whole mouth. So that's the mouth area. Now, other than the mouth, I did all the necessary mod for articulation, such as the neck. I shaved a lot of plastic, mostly here at the back, so that he could look up like that. I could look down plenty, and side to side. And despite not having a neck joint, a joint in the head to the neck, I find that his head movement is actually sufficient once you do the mod. Now, I also did the cape. It's wired cape. I made it quite big, kind of like the Mafex. My main goal here is to kind of surpass the Mafex, and obviously this is a custom and it's not painted all the way. This is just like the base minimal effort that you could possibly do to achieve the closest to the Mafex. But if you took the time to paint it, probably you would kind of surpass the Mafex, especially with considering the price. That is a big deal to me when buying toys. If it's way too expensive, I expect it to be perfect. That just makes sense. I'm paying way too much for figures. I expect it to have no problems and have everything that I want. Now, obviously, it's never gonna happen that way because each person is subjective to their wants and needs. But at the very least, it should look the way it's supposed to. And for me, this kind of $20 McFarlane with the $20 accessory, which is right here, is actually more worth it than the Mafex. I'm not saying the Mafex as a company is bad, it's just that I think they really dropped the ball on that Batman figure. And having said that, McFarlane did a decent job on this. The joints kind of stiff, especially the torso, which brings me actually to the point. I did have have to shave the joint so that it can bend forward. Now, before I show the range, before you can only bend it that far. It has no forward movement at all. But now that I did the mod, I shaved it, it could crunch almost 90. I'm pretty sure that's the same range as the Mafex, because I remember the Mafex has a really good articulation overall. It's just the sculpt on that guy not really doing it for me. But I remember the top part of the torso is touching the belt. This guy does it too. So the range is there, you just have to unlock it. I actually posted some pictures of him on my Facebook group, not my Facebook group, but a Facebook group, which is I am a member of, and a lot of people criticized my post because I said it's better than the Mafex, and a lot of people got the Mafex and think it's better, but for me, subjectively, kind of objectively, better. This is better. Now, there is one issue that I want to talk about with this guy. I got the supposed fixed elbows, which you can see here. They have the gray here and the gray joint. Now, you would expect this whole joint part to be gray, and this lower arm would be painted black plastic, like it's a black plastic with a gray paint, and this joint here at the middle would be a gray plastic. No, that's not the case, because right here I did not touch it up just to film this, but after this I'm gonna be painting this because it's a black joint, which is so bizarre. It did not have to be a black joint. Same with the belt. This belt is actually a separate piece than the trunks, and this belt is black plastic painted yellow all over. It did not have to be that way. It should have been just a yellow plastic, because now it's prone to paint scratching, and as you can see, if you pose your figure, you will get some scratches. That's just the case. That's super weird, because the wrong version actually, it's molded in gray, like the elbow joint. It's molded in gray, painted black. That's just super bizarre. I don't know why that happened. Now, I also did thigh mods. That's just a basic mod on McFarlane. Check out Bill Maru Toy Mechanics for that mod, because it's a pretty simple process, but you had to be precise to do it quite decent. And it does have a good range now, and you can rotate the legs, which is so cool. Now, obviously, you can get some gapping there. If you do, you just move the crotch piece upwards, and you won't get it. So, yeah. Now, the hands. This is one of the kind of fun part of this modification, because these are all sculpted by me. I use an air dry clay. Now, unfortunately, the clay that I used is available locally in my country. Let me show you the product. It's air dry clay, so you don't have to bake it or do some whatever process to cure it. This is the product. It's FADC, Flintastic air dry clay. I think this is a local company here in the Philippines. It's a homemade clay, I think, and it's really good. Now, there are some unique traits to this clay. This is actually non-toxic, I believe. As far as I know, it's scented, so it kind of feels like a modeling clay, like a Play-Doh, essentially. It smells good, and it's very, very soft and light. It's not heavy at all. It's actually lighter than the normal Play-Doh. And the main unique characteristic of this particular clay is that as it cures, as it dries, it shrinks 10% by the seller told me. The seller had a YouTube channel, so it says so that shrinks 10%. Now that could be a good thing and a bad thing. And if you know how to use it and to kind of eyeball how big the sculpt should be, this should work perfectly, because right here I made this hand. Now this is an open hand, and if you give it to him, I think it looks kind of big, right? Now I made, when this didn't dry, when it was still kind of soft, it was way too big. I made it extra big so that, you know, when it shrinks, it fits good. But the thing is, I made it way too big than it's supposed to be, and it didn't shrink enough. But that actually worked out well, because now this is my template. Because to me, that's 10% way too big than it's supposed to be, and it shrinks. Supposedly the clay shrinks 10%. Now all I had to do is make a sculpt which is exactly the same dimension as this guy, and I made this. Now when I sculpted this, it was this big and it shrunk 10%. That's just more or less 10%, and this thing fits better in terms of scale, I think. Now it doesn't go in too deep. I could just drill in a further. So yeah, but I think it looks good, especially when you do perspective poses like that. Now that's the hands that I did. I did a pair of fists, as you can see. Not the best, but I think it'll do. A pair of open hands, and I did, for the left hand, I did this. This is a kind of a finger gun, but it's actually not supposed to be a finger gun. It's supposed to be like a communicator gesture hands, like, you know, when he's kind of communicating with his colleagues. It kind of works like that. And let me just put in the open hand. I also did this, a kryptonite ring hand, because I wanted to recreate that one iconic panel on the Hush comic, when Batman actually punched Superman and almost broke every bone in his arm. So that's cool. These knee joints are very, very tight, which is a good thing. Yeah, I like that. I used neon paint on that, so it glows under black light. So that's kind of cool. I also made this hand. Focus, please. This hand, and what it's supposed to do is actually, hold the Batarang properly. This Batarang is actually way too big, way too big. It's supposed to be kind of like in between his knuckles, like that. Sometimes he does actually hold it like that, and it's supposed to be very, very small Batarangs, but McFarlane made it big. Now, it probably due to kind of choking hazard purposes. So, yeah. You can just imagine him holding that. Now, that's all the things that I did with this guy, and I think it improves him a heck of a lot. Like, I don't feel the need to buy the Mafix anymore because I have this guy. Like, what does the Mafix offer that this guy doesn't? After all the things that I did, granted, I know how to customize my figure. I have some experience. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but I have enough experience to say that I'm satisfied with the results that I did. Now, it's not free because I had to buy the materials, but this clay actually is maximum $2 in my country. That's just no, not $2, maybe $3. I forgot, but around that price range. And the wire and the cape for $5 at best. That's way too generous of a computation, and that sums up to more or less $30. This 2-pack is actually, I'm not good at math, but let me just break it down. The 2-pack sells for about, I want to say, $25 here. I got it when it's on sale, obviously, so it's not that expensive. Well, maybe 30. That's probably the right price range. It depends on the exchange rate, but let's just say 30 for the sake of argument. $30 for the figure, and let's just say $5 for the clay, so you have a lot of clay to work with, and then another $5 for the cloth and the wire. That's $40 for everything, and I mean everything. How much is the Mafix now? Probably almost like 180 at a good deal. And to me, it's small. Obviously, it's 6 inch, getting a lot more plastic in here. But if your collection is 6-inch scale, then you have to get the Mafix. But to me, I don't care about scale. If it's a good figure, it's a good figure regardless of the scale. And yeah, just my point is, not all expensive figures are good. A lot of them are not worth it, in my opinion. If a toy exceeds like a $50 range, they have to be at a certain quality control level and accessory count and articulation for me, because that's way too much of a price to pay for an action figure, because at the end of the day they're just pieces of plastic. And yeah, but for this guy, it's way too cheap to pass on. The head sculpt is way too good. The joints are there, you just have to unlock it. The process of actually modifying figures, it's way too fun for me. It's not boring at all, it's not tedious, so I don't mind that. And to me, this is by far my definitive comic book Batman figure. This is the suit that I want. It's the black and the gray and the pouch belt and that particular bat symbol, and especially the head. The head is just perfect to me. I have no complaints. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that I encourage you to do this exact mod. I told you all the things that I did. You can search further in the YouTube what other things you could do to improve this guy, but I don't know, I haven't seen much videos about modifying this guy. So yeah, that's about it, and I hope you enjoy. I encourage you to actually ask questions on the comment. I would always answer them, and I appreciate comments, likes, even dislikes, but that doesn't matter anymore, does it? So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, find it informative, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.